So you've heard that you need to start an email list, but how do you actually get people on it? That's what we're going to talk about here in this video. So if it seems like a big, huge mystery, it's not. I will explain it all fully for you here in this video, as well as help you have a little bit more with a freebie. So this is your email starter kit, and basically it's your welcome. Like literally it's your welcome sequence. So 2 things that you get. Number 1 is the how to get people to see your email and join it. So that's down below. As well as in the same vein, it's all like in a folder together. Then you also get welcome sequence emails that are ready to go. All you need to do is just like tweak a few things to make it specific to your business. So this is text that you can copy that goes through like the first few emails that you should send people. And so that's like ready to go for you and just kind of walks you through all of those things. So whether you're like new beginner, I don't know anything, or if you've already started but would like that welcome sequence, click the link down below to grab those 2 freebies in one, and then let's get started. First off, you need an email service provider. You can't send emails just from your Gmail because people have to be able to unsubscribe from them, and you can't do that if you just have, you know, like a random email. So you need to have an email service provider. So this could be MailChimp, that's what I use. You could use ConvertKit, you could use, I don't know, there's other ones too, but those are the 2 like big ones. MailChimp is the one that I use, and usually they let you start out for free until you hit a certain amount of subscribers, which is great because you aren't going to do that for a little bit anyway, unless you follow this advice and really run with it. So that's kind of number 1, is you need an email service provider. On that email service provider, you can then make a landing page. In MailChimp, all I do is I click create landing page, and then I make the landing page. They give me templates. It's very, very easy. I think I have a video about how to make a landing page, so I will link down below too. But in that landing page, all you do is you go through and you just basically have an area where people can put in their name and subscribe. I would also encourage you to have something on there that talks about what you talk about and why they might want to subscribe, and make sure you really focus on the value for them. And speaking of which, the next part that you're going to want for your email is to entice people to get more emails, because no one just wants more emails. I'm constantly unsubscribing from things. So in order to get people to prefer your email, we typically offer a freebie in return. We call this a lead magnet. So I have a lead magnet. When you sign up for my email list, I will send it to you, and that way they are getting something out of my email list other than all the amazing information that I'm going to give them. But you know, you need something up front. So when you're making your landing page, I would highly suggest that you go through and talk about what's in that lead magnet, what people are getting, how it's gonna help them, and anything else like that. If you could put pictures of your lead magnet, that would also be super helpful. And just have that information available so that people know what they're getting, and so that they're willing to sign up, because you know, there's no point in signing up if we don't get anything. No one needs more emails. Also put on here any of your information about privacy. So for example, like, we're not gonna sell your rights. You should have a privacy policy listed somewhere. I have mine on my website, so I always link to that. And then have on there that they can unsubscribe. I always put on there that I am gonna send them emails so that they're not shocked. I'll be like, in addition to this amazing thing you're gonna get, you'll also get elementary music ideas sent straight to your inbox twice a week, or whatever it is that I'm sending, but something specific so that they know to expect more emails. It's not just going to be the one. And then I always put, you can unsubscribe anytime, so that they're just aware that, you know, if you want to take the freebie and run, like, I totally understand. It's cool. I get it. I understand. So that is how we start. We need to have an email service provider, we need a landing page, and then we need a freebie. Now, we'll talk more about what makes a good freebie in a different video, but when you are starting with your freebie, you want something that's going to add value quickly, which means that you want something that is really obviously valuable, but is not going to take up tons and tons and tons and tons of time. I heard someone say the other day that if you can save somebody time, it is worth more than anything else. So instead of something crazy and huge, having something that's shorter and simpler might actually be better. Case in point, few years ago, I found all these really great folk dance manuals for free on the internet. They were giving them away. I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I downloaded like 4 of them. I printed them out. I stuck them in the closet and I never looked at them again. I literally never have looked at them. I have not used them, nothing, because it didn't save me time. Even though I had all this access to great resources, it actually took up more of my time because I had to look at it and read it and figure it out and decide if I was going to use it. So if it's too big, it might actually be overwhelming. Think about something that someone can kind of have like a quick win. So like a checklist or a template, you know, maybe a lesson planning template might be a good one, or something that's kind of goes along with something that you talk about a lot. You want to have a freebie that you can talk about a lot. So if it's something that's like a random one-off, it gets really hard to talk about. But if you have something that is more general, then it's a little easier. So for example, I talk about centers a lot in elementary music. So I have a guide to centers. It's 12 pages. So it's not super long, but it's long enough that you feel like you're getting value. And it has a whole bunch of ideas for things you can do for centers. And this works really well for me because I talk about centers all the time. And so anytime I talk about centers, I'm talking about my favorite centers. If I'm talking about classroom management with centers, if I'm talking about my favorite things to do with 4th graders, like I talk about centers so much that it's really easy for me to add that in there and be like, hey, if you're interested in centers, click the link down below because I've got this really cool resource that you can get. I also have other lead magnets because probably down the line you'll have multiple. And so I have other ones, like I have one that is a slideshow about songs about frogs. Do you know how often I talk about songs about frogs? Not nearly as much as I talk about centers. So now I have a few blog posts and I have a few videos that do talk about songs about frogs, and so I can talk about them and I do use them, and anytime I talk about one of these songs, which are some of my favorites, I can put that in there. But the point is that it's not as general, it's a little bit more specific. So if that was my only lead magnet, it would be really hard to get people onto my list, right? Now if you're just starting out, I would not say have more than one lead magnet. I would say just pick one thing that is general enough that you can talk about it a lot and have that there. And then we'll go to step number 2. But you know, something general, something's gonna save people time. So not super time consuming, save people time. A webinar, a training. I heard someone the other day said that they send the top 3 best podcast episodes to their new subscribers. So they say, hey, I'm so glad you subscribed. I have all these podcast episodes, but there's so many of them. I want to save you some time. So here's 3 of the best, or 3 of the ones you might be the most interested in. And so that's something that's going to save people time. They're like, oh, great. I know where to start. I have a plan. And it also gets them into your content. So that might be another idea, something like that. Guides, checklists, those kind of things are great. Do make it valuable, but don't make it so insanely huge that it is really difficult to get through, if you know what I mean. Now, after you've got your email service provider, you have a landing page and you have something to give those people when they sign up. The next thing you need is to advertise your email list. When you make your landing page, you'll get a link, and that link is what you give to people so that they sign up. But you gotta give it to people. No one's gonna be able to find your landing page randomly. It's not just something that happens. No one's gonna be like, oh, I was on Google and I happened to find a random landing page and sign up for an email list. Like, that's not gonna happen. You have to actively put that link different places. So depending on kind of where you are in your journey, that's gonna be a little bit different. So level number 1 would be if you have products and no content at all. Level 1 would be, I have products. I can put the link in my products. You can put the link in your products. So have like, I like having a cover on my products. I don't know, everyone does this, but I like it. I just think it looks nice when you open it up to be like, look, this is what you got. So cover, and then on the next page, you can be like, hey, if you like this, you might like this cool free thing I have. Click here to get the free thing and join the email list. And so that's level number 1. Anyone who buys your product can now go and join you on email. Level 1. Level 2 is to use any social media outlets that you have. So if you have any social media for your business, definitely use that. I just posted like yesterday about one of my lead magnets so that people can go and they can join. Ooh, look at the fun flower activity with the rhythms. go get it from the link in my bio. So that's one way that I can get people to go and join the email list, is by having content on social media, or maybe you do Pinterest or something like that that talks about it, and then having a link to that email list. I can also talk about my email list in my stories, and I do that sometimes too. I'll be like, this week I'm sending, you know, blah 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 to my email subscribers, and make sure that you are one of them so that you can get that, and you can kind of talk it up as well so that people are excited about the idea of getting your newsletter. So having those things, and again, I have been at this for a very long time, so I have more than one lead magnet. You're not gonna wanna do that, but whatever you have, make some content about it. You should have more than one piece of content about your email list. So level 1 is put in your products. Level 2 is put it on social media. And level 3 is the best, and that is use your content to sell. So when I talk about content, I'm really truly talking about long form content, which is blogs, emails, and podcasts. And this, friends, is where the magic is, because yeah, I can post a reel on Instagram and some people will see it and hopefully some people will click, but I can make a video, I can make blog posts, and I can talk about it. And that's where most of my email subscribers come from, actually, is from blog posts, not even from videos. It's the blog posts that people get, but I get some from YouTube too. So having that long form content where you can advertise things is going to make the biggest difference, because then people can go and they see your product if it's a video, or you have pictures on your blog. You can talk about it, talk about how amazing it is. And you have not just the people who happen to be there on social media, but also you have the leverage of SEO. So for example, I have my centers opt-in, my lead magnet, my centers opt-in, that's when people opt into your email. And so I have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of content about centers, and in every single one of them, I advertise my freebie. Say, hey, if you want to do centers, here's a guide to help you get started, or give you more ideas if you've already started. And this is super helpful because if people are looking for centers ideas, they will find that blog post. If people are looking for, you know, activities for 4th and 5th grade, and I tell them I love using centers in my 4th and 5th grade, they can find it. If I'm talking about, you know, whatever I'm talking about, I have so many things that you can use SEO. People can search on Google, find my blog post, search on Google, and find my YouTube channel, and they can find the answers that they're looking for. And this is so much more effective than social media, just gotta say. I mean, maybe you're like a social media fanatic and it works really great for you. Personally, I find it's not super fantastic. Alex from Terrific Teacherpreneur the other day or Terrific Selling Tactics, I think that's what her thing is, posted a reel the other day that was like, sometimes social media feels like high school and it all depends on popularity. And I feel that because your girl's not that popular in high school. In fact, Brian, who edits these videos, fun fact, Brian, I don't know if you know this, but when I meet people from high school nowadays, because sometimes I see people, a lot of times I won't know them or remember them if they weren't like in my circle of friends, but I always tell them, yeah, I was friends with Brian. But I always tell them, I'm like, yeah, well, I was friends with Brian. And they're like, oh, I love Brian. They always know him because that's what happens when you're outgoing. I was not outgoing, and therefore social media, just like high school, is not, you know, like my reigning place. But I kill it with content because I write a lot of it and I do my research, and I have been doing it for a really long time. So having that content piece is really helpful because it's a lot less about how much people like you and more about the content. And personally, I find that much easier. So there we go. The other thing about it is you can keep getting people onto it. So you might know I have a second TBT shop, because I'm crazy, called Becca's Bible Class, and I have a blog for that one, and I have email opt-ins for that one because from the get-go, I was like, when I started the store, I was like, I'm starting a blog, I'm starting an email list, because I knew what things worked. And so I went ahead and started them, and I, with like barely any work, the other day I looked at it and I was like, when did I get 2,000 subscribers on here? I mean, it's been a while, but I haven't written a blog post in years. I have not written blog posts. So people are finding the blog posts that I wrote years ago and signing up for my email list based on those blog posts that were not recent at all. I was like, I don't even know how you people found me. So that is the power of email, and that is the power of blogging, and that is why we like content marketing, because it keeps working. It doesn't stop working. You don't just completely lose all your views after 24 hours. So I will die on the hill of content marketing. Okay? Okay. And when you get content marketing and you get email and you get them coexisting, that's where the magic happens. So that's what I want to get you to, is content marketing and email coexisting to make you all the money. That's my goal for you in life. So that's what we're here for. So let us recap. Email service provider, landing page, give them something, advertise in your products, on social media, in your content. This is the formula that's gonna help you get emails. Now, if you start an email list, if you do not already have like a huge social media following or tons of people who read your blog or watch your YouTube channel, do not expect tons of people overnight. It will take a while, but it is always better to start sooner, because it is better to be like, oh, I want to write emails now and already have a couple people on your list, than to be like, I want to write emails and not have anybody. So it's gonna take a while, but just start small, celebrate every one person who joins, and be excited, and go ahead and start writing emails. And if your first emails are terrible, it's okay, because there's only like 3 people reading them anyway. So it gives you a little bit of anonymity, which is really nice. So don't fret about it taking a while. It is going to take a while, but stick with it. I promise it is so worth it. And with that, I will leave you. Don't forget to get the freebie down below to join my email list. You're welcome. And I will see you over there with an email, usually on Monday.